Yo, what's the word, boys? Welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the next fight for every UFC champion, who they should fight next, and if the champion is already scheduled for a fight, example, Ilia Topuria, we're going to talk about if that fight is the correct fight, and if it isn't, John Jones will make the correct fight. I hope I explained that correctly and properly so you guys understand, but let's get right into it with the flyweight champion, Alexandre Pantoja. He needs to fight Kai Kara-France next, in my opinion. I left out Kyle Sakura because he's not in the UFC yet, so I didn't throw him into this conversation. If you want him fighting Pantoja next, sure, go for it, but I absolutely love this fight. Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France for the undisputed flyweight championship. And man, the stylistic clash between these two would be so much fun to watch. On one hand, the champion, Alexandre Pantoja, he's pretty sloppy on the feet. He's a dog, though. He's a dog. His grappling is elite, and it just helps him bank wins. And he's cleared out the entire flyweight division at this point. And funny enough, these guys actually fought around about 9 years ago on The Ultimate Fighter. Alexandre Pantoja did get the win, but people need to stop bringing that fight into conversation when you're making predictions about this fight, because it was almost a decade ago. That is a stupid amount of time, especially in mixed martial arts. And then going back to the stylistic clash, Pantoja is a great grappler. He needs to grapple in order to win fights. And on the other hand, Kai Kara-France, a very well-rounded striker. His takedown defense is great, and he has a lot of power. He is dangerous in the pocket. He's coming off of arguably the biggest win of his career against Steve Erceg. I thought he was brutally robbed against you-know-who. So I think this fight makes a lot of sense. Alexandre Pantoja is creating a fantastic resume for himself, and if he could beat Kai Kara-France again, I really don't know what else to say. Excuse me. I do not know what else to say, because, hot take, I'm picking Kai Kara-France to win this fight. Stylistically, I think he gives a lot of trouble to Alexandre Pantoja, but if Pantoja can somehow just get it done and just be an absolute dog, I do not know what else to say. But this fight, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I think it would be an absolute banger. Make this fight. Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara-France, undisputed flyweight championship. Give it to us. Next up, the new champion, Merab Dvalishvili. It's quite clear, in my opinion, he has to fight Umar Nurmagomedov. No other real option in the bantamweight division. Petr Yan is booked for a fight. You have Corey Sandhagen, who Umar just dominated, to be completely honest. Sean O'Malley, there's no way, because he's going to be out injured, and if the UFC give him an immediate rematch, that's kind of crazy. So it's quite clearly Umar. You can't really make a argument for anybody else. And Merab and even Sean O'Malley were kind of downplaying what Umar Nurmagomedov has done in the UFC, which is okay to an extent. He doesn't have a crazy resume, and he's fighting for the title next, so he doesn't have the craziest resume, but you cannot deny that this guy is up next when he went out there and dominated Corey Sandhagen in every department of mixed martial arts. He went out there and outstruck Corey Sandhagen, and like the previous fight, stylistically, this is such an interesting matchup. Merab Dvalishvili, we know what he's about. Ridiculous cardio on another level in terms of cardio. He has the most cardio in UFC history by a fucking landslide, and his striking defense looked much improved against Sean O'Malley. And then Umar Nurmagomedov, if you guys are familiar with my TikTok, go follow me. Link in the description. I have like 23,000 followers over there. I have been praising, holy shit, I just choked, goddamn, I don't want to die mid-video, that would suck. Umar Nurmagomedov, I've been praising this man for so long, saying he is one of the most underrated strikers in the UFC, and that came to fruition against Corey Sandhagen. This kicks up the middle, the knees up the middle, can give Merab a lot of problems in this fight, so I'm not sure who I'd pick It's very 50-50. Umar is more skilled, in my opinion. Underrated striker. Grappling is there. Wrestling is there. One of the most complete guys we have in the division. But Merab is Merab, so I'm not too sure. But this is definitely the fight to make. Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov for the undisputed bantamweight championship. Next up, Ilia Topuria. He's already booked for a fight, and it's the fight that should happen, unlike John Jones. Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway for the undisputed featherweight championship. This is my most anticipated fight for the rest of the year. You guys know how much I rate Ilia Topuria. I think he is the most well-rounded featherweight we have ever seen. And I think stylistically he gives so much problems, or gives just so much trouble to Max Holloway. That short, stocky build that he has, similar to Volkanovski. He's going to go out there and he's going to dominate Max Holloway, And I'm going to talk about and dive into this fight a little bit more when we're closer to the fight date, because I don't want to, ramble here, but I truly believe that Ilia Topuria can go out there and either knock out Max Holloway or submit Max Holloway. And that is not a knock on Holloway. I think you could honestly argue he's a top, 5 to 7 guy in the UFC right now, but Ilia Topuria is simply on another level at the bare minimum. At the minimum, he is the second best fighter in the UFC, in my opinion. He is so fucking complete, man. The boxing, best in the UFC. Some of the most power we've seen in the featherweight division ever. He puts people out cold. And then the grappling and wrestling is somehow criminally underrated. Don't be surprised when Ilia Topuria retires as the champion. But Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway, undisputed featherweight championship. This is the fight that's happening, and it's the fight that should happen. Next up, Islam Makhachev. Very, very clear on who he should fight next as well. And it's Arman Tsarukyan. This is an absolute banger of a fight, man. Islam is getting hand surgery, so I'm not too sure when he's going to come back. Charles Oliveira is fighting Michael Chandler as a #1 contenders fight, most likely. So, the winner of that fight is going to fight the winner of this. We have a decent blueprint in the lightweight division. Islam already beat Arman Tsarukyan. It was Arman Tsarukyan's debut in the UFC on short notice, and he put up a fight, man. He put up a fight. He is the clear #1 contender in the lightweight division, and that's what I love. These are the title fights I love. When you have an amazing champion in Islam Makhachev, so damn skilled, extremely entertaining, and you have a clear, and I mean clear #1 contender. None of this Chito Vera bullshit, Colby Covington bullshit, Stipe Miocic bullshit. This is an awesome fight. Arman Tsarukyan is going to give Islam Makhachev a fight. Islam is going to need to be prepared, but at the same time, it's Islam Makhachev. This dude, you could argue, is the best fighter we've ever fucking seen. He is an elite striker, elite grappler, elite wrestler. In his last fight, he went out there and outboxed Dustin Poirier in the pocket. He's a ridiculous counter striker. One of the most underrated strikers in the UFC. Best striker in the lightweight division. I don't give a fuck. And yeah, I think he's going to beat Arman Tsarukyan, but this is an awesome fight. Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. Undisputed lightweight championship. Make it happen. Next up, Belal Muhammad. Sort of a new champion. He should fight Khamzat Chimaev. Man, this is a really good fight. And Belal Muhammad, I still think, is criminally underrated. I believe Khamzat Chimaev is maybe the only guy in the welterweight division that beats Belal. And I was looking at the odds for this fight earlier. And I think Shavkat is like a -250 favorite, which is kind of a lot because I wouldn't be surprised if Belal beats Shavkat, but still, this is the fight to happen. There are rumors of a Kamaru Usman fight. That just simply doesn't make sense. You guys know, or you might not fucking know. I don't know. I'm one of the biggest Kamaru Usman, the biggest Kamaru Usman fan on YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is. I'm the biggest, but he doesn't deserve it right now. If he could get one solid win, I'm okay with it. If he fights an Ian Gary and then fights for the title, that's okay, because I think that Leon Edwards trilogy was a lot closer than people say it is. And that Khamzat Chimaev fight should have been a fucking draw. So I'm okay with Kamaru Usman getting a win, then fighting for the title. But right now, it's clear. It's Shavkat Rakhmonov. You know, he hasn't beat the craziest guy to fight for the title. He did finish Wonder Boy. It's not like he went out there and finished a Kamaru Usman, as I was talking about earlier. But it's very clearly Shavkat Rakhmonov. And this is an absolute banger of a fight. We have Belal Muhammad, who has improved drastically on the feet. Striking defense is awesome. And he almost fights like Merab a little bit. His gas tank and his pressure and his cardio is crazy. And then on the other hand, Shavkat Rakhmonov is a pure finisher. And I just want to see Shavkat on this level at the highest stage so he could really prove to us how good he is. So I want to see this fight. Belal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov for the undisputed welterweight championship. Next up, Dricus Du Plessis. This might be a hot take, but I think Dricus should fight Khamzat Chimaev. Now, let me break this down for you guys. Whoever wins out of Khamzat and Whitaker, in my opinion, absolutely deserves to fight for the belt over Sean Strickland next. Strickland got an undeserved title shot to begin with against Israel Adesanya. Sure, he won, but then he lost. He lost to Dricus Du Plessis, and then he went out there and beat Paulo Costa, I guess. Say Khamzat goes out there and finishes Robert Whitaker like I think he is going to do. There is no way you can, argue to me that a resume of Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, and Robert Whitaker deserves it less than Abus Magomedov, Israel Adesanya, and Paulo Costa. No fucking way. And if Khamzat goes out there and finishes Robert Whitaker, because if he's going to beat Whitaker, it's going to be by a finish. The hype this man would get. Why do we want to see a Dricus Du Plessis Sean Strickland rematch? That fight was, it was alright. It was alright. But Dricus versus Khamzat, the press conference would be better. The anticipation for the fight would be better. The fight in general would be better. Give me this fight. Feed this fight to me. I think Khamzat is going to finish Whitaker. And say Whitaker wins, make the rematch. Du Plessis Whitaker in fucking South Africa. I don't care. But I want to see Khamzat fight for the title. I think he's going to beat Whitaker, and then you make Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev for the undisputed middleweight championship. He deserves it more than anybody, and it would be the best fight out of any middleweight contender. Please, 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 I want this fight. Next up, Alex Pereira. He is booked to fight Khalil Roundtree. No. He needs to fight Magomed Ankalaev. I know the Khalil Roundtree fight is going to be fun. It's going to be cool. Somebody's going to get knocked out, but this is the fight that should be happening. Magomed Ankalaev is fighting Alexander Rakic, which is a very, very, and I mean very dangerous fight for him. I still believe Alexander Rakic is one of the best guys in the division, arguably the most well-rounded, and he was whooping Yuri's ass before he got finished. This is the fight that should happen. It's the most competitive fight, in my opinion. Magomed Ankalaev deserves it. You have Alex Pereira, who is one of the best kickboxers in UFC history, if not the best. And then you have Magomed Ankalaev, who's very well-rounded. His boxing is underrated. He can mix in the grappling and the wrestling. This is the fight that should have happened in the light heavyweight division. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. There's a typo there. I apologize, but yeah. Simple. Next up. Oh, fuck me, man. Jon Jones. Do I even need to say it? Tom Aspinall, the undisputed champion, should fight Jon Jones. Undisputed heavyweight championship. This is the fight that needs to happen. Stipe Miocic doesn't have a single win over a guy in the current roster. The last time Stipe fought, Alex Pereira was not in the UFC, and now he's arguably a top 10 UFC fighter of all time. Everybody knows this fight is bullshit, and that this one on your screen right now should happen. And I truly believe, I truly, deep down, I believe that Tom Aspinall finishes Jon Jones and destroys Jon Jones. It's very unfortunate. We'll never get to see this fight. Tom Aspinall will be there at MSG. I hope John Jones passes him the belt when he's leaving the octagon. Simple. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow all my socials. Link will be in the description down below. Peace out.